Hey folks, this is Bill with Dine Drink Travel. I'm here in the Dublin airport to show you the US Preclearance area. This is the area that you come through if you're flying from Dublin directly to the United States. And because you clear customs and immigration, you don't have to do that once you get to the US, and that makes the lines a lot shorter. It makes it a lot easier to make tight connections in the US. It does mean you've got to get to the airport a little bit earlier. What I want to do for the next few minutes is take you on a tour of this area to show you what to expect, because there are fewer services here than in the rest of the airport, and I want you to be able to plan your time and decide when to show up. So one of the things worth noting is that they do have a duty-free shop with, as far as I can tell, the exact same stuff at the exact same prices as they have before you hit U.S. Customs and Immigration. What that means is, there's no reason to buy it earlier. You've just got to lug it for longer and lug it through the checkpoints and get it here because it's easier. And they have several of these kiosks around, like on my right, where you can get water for a couple of euros in case you don't want to use the tap water or whatever it is. So that's fine. Now, these are the standard airport gates like in any other airport in the world. I will say that as flights are taking off, they get crowded and they're not set up particularly well. However, they do a pretty good job. They do a pretty good job of having snacks around. This coffee shop is actually pretty reasonably priced. You can see them enjoying their drink. And because it's Ireland, you can get a pint of Guinness or other beer pretty much anywhere. Now you'll notice that the seating there on my right is crowded. It's not necessarily the most comfortable place to wait unless you're going to go down to the 51st and Green Lounge. And we did a review on it already, and I hope you'll check it out on our channel. So we're just walking down a long corridor here towards more of the gates, but there are more restaurants and other services once we get down to this end of the airport. The bathrooms were fine. They were perfectly clean and all of that. So that's assigned to 51st and Green. That's a business class lounge, and some elite status frequent flyers can get in there. And it doesn't really matter whether you are flying Aer Lingus or American or United or Delta, you can go in there. So let's keep going down, and you'll notice this is kind of a long corridor. It can take you a minute to get from one gate to the other. There are more waiting areas. You'll notice there's not a whole lot around. There is more once you go another couple of gates down, but there's not a whole lot here. The vending machines would mostly rather you give them plastic. Some of them will take euro coins, but they would mostly rather that you give them plastic. So again, just some kind of standard gates here. We're getting to the point where you're about to see one of the main restaurants in this area. And for that matter, one of the only restaurants in this area. And I'm going to see if I can't show you a little bit of the menu so they know what it is that they have here. There is a menu. Let's see if I can get it. Nope, I don't want to pass people because I don't want to interfere with people. There we go. Sorry about that. So, kind of your standard restaurant in the airport, not exciting food, but it turns out that the prices aren't all that terribly bad. They've got a full service bar there, and that's nice. Now, one of the things I never could quite figure out here is why they've got gates to other places, because those aren't U.S. destinations. I don't honestly know how that works, but folks, if you're flying to the U.S., I wouldn't go up there, because my guess is you're going to have to re-clear, and that's going to be a pain. Another little snack kiosk. So again, not huge choices, but perfectly serviceable. And I will say the prices here are way more reasonable than I've encountered, at least in some of the other airports that I've flown through. Another coffee shop, so coffee is easy to get to. Also, they've got whiskey you can see up there, and I'll walk around in a second and show you the beer tap. So getting a cup of coffee, getting a beer, something like that, not hard. They do have one full-service bar. Here they have Heineken, they've got Guinness, and you can see all the whiskeys and other liquors. You've got another convenience store, which is a full-on convenience store, so there's less here than there is in the rest of the airport, but you also don't want to run the risk of getting caught in the customs and immigration line, and there's plenty, right? Like you can get snacks, you can get a drink, you can get a sandwich. And what I'm going to do now is walk you all the way down to the end of the hall so you can see where the 51st and Green Lounge is in case you have access to that. I know that we've already been in and out of there, and it was a great space. Like, I'm glad we were able to do that. One of the things which surprised me about my trip to Ireland was the number of times that we needed credit cards instead of Euro cash. Now, obviously, we had the cash, And, to me as an American, having larger denominations as coins was a little bit unusual, but best you can, I would be scared with credit cards. So you've got another just long, basic waiting area. The waiting areas themselves not particularly comfortable, not a particularly good job with power plugs. You can find them, it's just that you've got to look for them, you've got to look extra hard. And we're going to walk down here again to the 51st and Green Lounge, where you've either got to be flying business class or have an arrangement with your airline's frequent flyer program. Folks, I hope this has been helpful to you. What we try really hard to do at Dine Drink Travel is bring you short and focused videos to give you the information you need to plan your next trip. Please support the channel by clicking like and subscribe, and leave us a comment because that helps YouTube show our videos to more people. Thanks, and happy